Hi, I'm Andrea Jenson. I am an entrepreneur, an investor, and I own multiple businesses ranging in industries such as financial services. We have a fractional CFO and accounting firm, construction. We do water features on golf courses, plumbing, roofing, lots of different industries, consulting. And as a fourth generation entrepreneur, I have always loved working with customers, right? My parents owned a restaurant called the Barbecue Pit, and I just remember my dad would light up when he would talk to his customers, and that was ingrained in me at such an early age. And I ended up taking a different route. I got my degree in business. I went to work for venture capital and I saw lots of transactions happening and I saw how they were looking at acquiring the different businesses and what they were looking for. And then I went to work for a company that was owned by private equity, and we were buying and rolling up physical therapy clinics. And I was in the accounting department, ran that, and just got to see from a transactional level all the ins and outs of these businesses, consolidating them into different investment levels and things like that. And it was really fascinating. And then I had my daughter, my first, and she was born with cancer. And so my trek up the corporate ladder was abruptly halted. And I really kind of took a step back and said, what do I want to do? And had some time to think about it. And I matched the two things up. I had this watching and observing my parents run this business. And then I had all of this corporate training and background in financing and things and accounting. And I thought there's nothing that's putting them together. And so that's when I founded the Cash Flow CFO. And it's really so that business owners don't take their financial statements and stick them in a drawer because they don't know how to read them. They don't know what it's telling them. And so we're storytellers of here's what's happening in the business. Here's why you're profitable or you're not profitable, and here's how to fix it. So I'm, through and through a numbers strategist, and I absolutely love looking at business models. I was recently named by Forbes and Success Magazine as a top 5 business strategist for scaling a company. And it's really just looking at every business has a model, and there's lots of numbers that go into how that all plays together. And my favorite part of that is kind of tinkering with how do we make this the most profitable that it can be while still serving the clients at the highest level, still having a team that loves working for the company and all of those other components that go into it. So that's a little bit about me and why I love what we do here at NextGen Legacy Partners.
Hi, my name is Dori Tattrie. A little bit about me. I graduated from university with a degree in exercise physiology, actually, and spent 10 years working in corporate and university health clubs, moving from trainer and instructor to program assistant to program director, eventually working my way up to managing various clubs. And over a decade of doing that, I couldn't see a future path staying in that industry, both from a how can I expand in this industry, and also from a just an earning potential, seemed to be at the ceiling there. So I started to explore how else can I use these management skills and operational skills that I've developed. What else can I do with them? What are the possibilities? And eventually I took the leap and started my own business management and consulting company. My parents were business owners my whole life, so being entrepreneurial was sort of in my blood, so to speak, and watching their example, I was able to, build the confidence to go out on my own and start my own thing. Running my business for the past 15, almost 15 years now, I have led and consulted on the operations of dozens of small businesses at this point, everything from building the team to managing metrics to creating repeatable systems and processes, really everything that brings a business owner's vision to life on a day-to-day basis. And in my role as COO of the Cashflow CFO, I have really been able to see how much the operations impacts the profitability of a business and how beneficial it is to both a buyer and a seller to have really solid, streamlined operations. It significantly increases the value of the business for the seller, and it eliminates so much risk of buying a new business for the operator and so much extra work when all of those foundational pieces are in place. So I'm excited to be able to bring the operational perspective to NextGen legacy partners.
Hi, I'm Traci Shirachi. A little bit about myself. I spent around 15 years in public accounting. So I used to work for Deloitte and PricewaterhouseCoopers. I used to work in what was called transfer pricing, which was intercompany transactions. And through that, I used to work with large corporations that were either merging or acquiring other companies. And about 7 years ago, I left to buy and purchase my own business. And it was at a time when my daughter was actually just born. And I think the reason I was confronted with that decision was I wanted to have the ability and the flexibility to kind of direct my own path. And in corporate, I really couldn't do that when I was working 12, 14-hour days and traveling around the world because I had customers globally or clients globally. And it wasn't until that life event that really caused me to think about what I truly wanted to do professionally. And at the time, I happened to meet individuals who were looking at buying businesses too. And I was like, why not? And so I took the leap of faith and financed and put together the financing arrangement to purchase the business and ran and operated that business for the last 8 years and recently exited it last year and have now started a security company with my husband, which is completely different, but just demonstrates, I think, that as long as you have the heart and the passion to really pursue a new business, learn a new industry, and really have a growth mindset and a desire to grow and run your own company, that it makes for a great legacy and makes for a great story. So that's a little bit about me.